Hello, welcome to the Swatches live stream number 19. I'm Clint, this is Diana, and we're going to be reviewing your submitted portfolios. If you're new here, then we appreciate you coming by the video. We're going to just run through a couple of announcements first. You can see them listed there on the screen. Gives everyone a chance to join in live. Then we'll start looking at the submitted artwork. We are both illustrators. If you don't know us, we also teach at Swatches Academy, and we are the directors and supervisor at Swatches Studio that does outsourcing for AAA projects with illustration. So, if you want to get your portfolio reviewed, we have reviews open. They are free. We're accepting as many as you want to submit over at the Swatches Discord. It is reviewed in the order that it is submitted, and we are just looking at whatever the last ones were that was submitted. If you want to start studying with us, whether it is beginner level to semi-pro, we have a variety of courses available on swatchesacademy.com. There are 8-week courses that you can do for self-study, or starting this next winter, we will have courses with live feedback. Now, the biggest announcement we have is that the form drawing course, which has been hovering on the back burner for about a year, is finally getting released this next Monday, and as of the time of the live stream here. So if you want to improve your ability to draw from imagination, to also improve your ability to shade and do imaginative works, form drawing is going to fix that and help you to think more three-dimensionally. There is a new art challenge, Gin and their vessels, that'll be kicking off December 1st. And we're going to be at the Lightbox Expo. I don't really have anything for sale there. We're just going to be promoting the school and the studio, but it'd be great to have you come by. We're going to have some freebies to give out that will be exclusive just for the Lightbox attendees.
I think it's booth 1109. Is it 1109?
If you say so.
I think it is. You have to check the map, but if you are going, just maybe install the app. I think they have an app now.
Yes.
That you can install that should give you the full list of attendees and the map of their locations, I believe.
Okay, anybody that is joining in live right now, let us know if there's any problems with the stream and the audio as we go. I'm not seeing any problems on my side, so.
We do sometimes get complaints that the sound is too low. If you are having any trouble hearing us, or if our audio is too quiet, please let us know so we can try to fix that before we get into the reviews.
Yeah. All right, we are going to be looking at 6 portfolios today. There are a variety of skill levels and subject matters being covered. So we are going to just talk about whatever the portfolios bring up. Okay, and we might get into some drawovers and paintovers, probably to a small degree, but it's mainly going to just be advice. So first up is Jolfe, I believe how you pronounce that. And we're going to begin by taking a look at the comments left on the Discord. Just finished college in May, okay, recently. And I've been trying to keep some art momentum going while working full time. And I want to do illustrations in the game industry, maybe books as well. Okay, excellent choice to try to keep the momentum going. It's always difficult once you get out of particularly college or get out even of a workshop to keep at it afterwards. Both of us worked full time while we were trying to improve our skills and build competitive portfolios. So my condolences, because
it's very hard.
It's tough to do.
It is.
But let's take a look. I pulled off some in case we want to look at them in Photoshop, but this is the link to the actual portfolio here. And it's all under one thing, so we'll take a look at these. Okay, we got 9 pieces here. The way that we always want to review these is before you get into the individual images is looking at the portfolio as a whole. What is the collection of images telling us? And oh, that actually reminds me, I want to go open a different file. One moment, I've got to go open. This one. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the criteria that we go by when reviewing portfolios, and it is pretty similar to what a lot of art directors and reviewers do when they're looking for potential illustrators to hire or people to hire for positions in in-house companies. Whether they use an actual thing like this, I don't know. But first thing we want to look at is accessibility. Is it easy to get to your web page? Is there easy to see the images, that sort of thing? Now, you are just using ArtStation, so that's fine. ArtStation is an excellent and professional way to show your work.
It works great.
The next thing you want to look at is foundational errors as can be seen from thumbnails. This is a broad view of just foundational problems. I'm not just saying that there are any errors anywhere or things couldn't be optimized. We're talking about foundational errors as they apply to constructive drawing. Something is drawn incorrectly, has the wrong proportions, perspective is wrong, anatomy is wrong, or there's significant shading and value control issues that show a lack of control or understanding of the subject. The main goal at this stage, if you get a red flag here, is to stop working on the portfolio. Pause working on the portfolio and looking for work and focus on the skills.
And the reason we say this is because any portfolio that has major issues in this category will not progress. So not addressing this, not fixing these things will just keep you stuck at this level and keep you from actually getting hired until you actually address those issues. So I've heard people express frustration with, oh, I'm just being sent back to the fundamentals. Oh, I'm being told forever I need to work on the fundamentals. And I get that is super frustrating. But if the issues are noticeable enough, large enough, they will just prevent you from moving forward. They have to be dealt with in some meaningful way. So at least the major errors are resolved and kept under control.
The next major thing is the image selection. I can go ahead and comment on it as that would be, as you're continuing to work on your skills and you're building a portfolio, you should be mindful of what the selection of images is that you're actually putting your time into. So
it comes down to thinking about, what am I trying to tell the client? What am I trying to show them? What am I offering them in terms of services? Like, how am I presenting myself as useful to them and to their needs? So this needs to be already something that you're thinking of when you're putting together the portfolio and starting on any new images for the portfolio.
So with this selection, already I can see some errors in the foundational aspects. Now, we don't say this and I don't point them out to be a meanie, but so that you have a better awareness of where to put your time and what needs to be addressed. So the image selection is also an issue where my portfolio looked similar to this when I started, all right, because it was just an assortment of things that I happened to have tried that I had some interest in, right? It was a random assortment. But as you work on your skills and you create a targeted portfolio, then you want to have it not so random. And by random, I mean we got a cowboy, we've got like space kind of book cover, game cover thing, a prop illustration, a statue with no background, an insect, like creature design, environment stuff. So you're still experimenting to figure out in which direction you want to go. You don't have to decide right away, but start being aware of what is it that I'm really enjoying working on. And if I could only pick a sector, like just environment design or just creature design, which one would it be? What is getting your most interest? And what do you get the best enjoyment out of? There's no reason to work on stuff. You go, well, I'll do it because maybe the client wants it. No, and work on it because you enjoy it. That's where you're going to put in more time. Okay, as far as foundational errors, I do see some significant shading, volume thinking issues. Looking at these, the way this is shaded, what it's conveying is that you don't have a good awareness of the 3D volumes of what your subject is. And we also want to just really tighten up the drawing of some of this. We always have to start with really good replication skills. So, okay. Speed paints, they're fine. I even in some of our classes, we do like time drawings and stuff, and that's fine. But they're studies, and I don't recommend putting them in the portfolio because what you want to put in the portfolio are things that clients are likely to hire you to do. And they're not likely to hire you to do speed paints of cowboys. So that goes in the self-study, personal computer side. But then we want to spend a lot more time doing more finished work if you're doing illustration for clients. See it a different way?
No, I agree. I also want to point out, doing experimental styles is totally normal, totally fine. And using a photo is totally fine. I do recommend, though, here you're labeling yourself an illustrator. You mentioned that you want to do illustration work. I know you have some experience. You did this for a client, I believe.
Steam game.
Yeah, this was for a game. Okay. These are pretty straightforward images. What I would like to propose is that you become familiar with working from a brief that's a little bit more challenging than one character standing on a one-point perspective background. Because a lot of the times with many clients, you're going to get things that are substantially more complex than this to resolve. And it's something that you need to practice, not just complexity for complexity's sake, but an actual brief that has an image description that is not in your control, right? That is given to you. So that is part of the job. And that is a skill that is very much overlooked or ignored by people who are new to this profession or coming into the industry.
So a couple of recommendations as you go forwards. One is do a lot more iterations. Okay, we're seeing super rough sketch, like 5-second sketch, and then like a 1-minute sketch, and then you just go to this. We'll see a lot more iterations of pose option, character design options, lighting value, color options. The more studies you do and the more prep that you do before the painting starts, the better that painting's going to go later on. It's like making sure that the foundation of the house is nice and strong and level before you put the house on it. So that would be good. Lots of references of everything. You want to make up as little as possible. Pros reference so much stuff.
It's true.
A lot of times they just don't show the references, so you get the idea that they're making up a lot of it, where actually they're not. Yeah.
Yeah, and just overall, I mean, if you're asking for advice, I don't know if there was actually a request for advice, but I would suggest thinking of what are specific clients that I want to target and building a portfolio for those clients. Just be aware that a lot of the people that are competing for illustration jobs with you are very, very mindful of this. They're very deliberate, and they're showing clients these wonderful images that are targeted to them.
Yeah.
So that's going to put you at a disadvantage if you're just showing, random images, collections of studies, or things like that that are not in the specific, aesthetic of the clients that you want to work for.
Okay. At the end of the day, you need to work on your skills. Now, I know that you just got out of college, and that is probably the last thing that you want to hear, is that your skills aren't competitive. But they're not. Compared to your competitors, who else is in the industry trying to get the work that you'll want to get. And you've got to focus on those skills first. This is a bit of a tangent, but we've got 2 people that submitted in who just said that they got out of college recently or university. And I want to tell you guys, when you are looking at getting a college training or university training, there is a certain responsibility that you carry as a student. A couple of them. But one of them is basically you need to vet your teachers. Now, they have responsibilities on their side as a teacher as to how they teach and the information they're giving you, right? They have theirs. But part of yours is that you need to vet your teacher. The simplest, best thing to look for at first is, can my teacher do the thing that is my goal? So if I wanted to learn how to play high-level tennis, I would go to someone who can play high-level tennis. I don't go to somebody who has an understanding of the theory of tennis. I need somebody who can play high-level tennis to teach me. And the same way, unfortunately, and I don't know for what reason, probably back to money for somehow, but there's a lot of teachers in colleges that teach art who cannot create art at a professional level. And so that there is no way they're going to teach somebody else to do something that they can't do.
Yeah, this is a very, awkward conversation to have, but it's just true. You have to look at some of these schools very carefully and see which are the classes and the teachers that they have and what is the professional work. And don't be fooled by, I won an award or I'm a member of this association. Or this. They always pad their resumes.
And it doesn't matter where they graduated from.
No,
Again,
you have to look at the work. Yeah, you have to go look at the work and really see, does this person know enough? Because they are just all too eager to take people's money, and then time and time again, we are so tired and sad for people seeing them come out of these 2, 3, 4, even 5-year programs and they don't know their fundamentals. And it's like, you could have learned your fundamentals in that time if you had skilled teachers and real classes for these things. So just be aware, anyone thinking of going into one of these programs, really investigate who your teachers are, what their artwork looks like. Because if you're spending 2 or more years in college learning art, you should know your fundamentals when you come out. If you don't, to me, that's a big problem.
Oh, absolutely. If you don't know that coming out, then really you don't have anything to build from. And
you're back at square one, but you're out a bunch of years and a bunch of money.
People conflate having familiarity with a thing with understanding the thing. And it's just not the same. It's not the same, and that applies to everything. It's like I have a familiarity with how to pilot a plane. I play
Flight Simulator.
I get the idea of how it works, and I have the idea of why an airplane flies, but that doesn't mean I can just sit down in a cockpit and fly a plane. Familiarity does not mean you have the skill. And a lot of colleges give the students this sort of random assortment of familiarity with a little design and a little history and a little sketch class and a little painting class, and then at the end you have no practical skills in any given subject. Yeah. Now this is the best thing in your portfolio. It looks like it was done in a mentorship, and that is exactly what I suggest you continue with. Mentorships, workshops, classes. Now, obviously, we have our own stuff, and I'm not pitching that unless it's the topic that you want to learn.
And we don't do mentorships anyway.
We don't do mentorships anymore.
But yeah, I think this right here is like the nicest, most professional thing in your portfolio. Yes. If you're interested in this and these bugs and, you know, biomechanical things, I would just maybe explore building a portfolio like that. That could be interesting and competitive.
Yep. Okay. If you love doing this, stay at it. Keep doing it. Vet your teachers. Find the ones who are really good but also have the heart of a teacher. And take whatever training you can get from them. But always practice everything that you hear, because it's not enough to just hear. All right, we got to keep moving. But anybody has any comments or questions along those lines, feel free. We'll keep an eye on the chat. The next portfolio is Hannah. Pull Hannah's down here.
Hannah, if you're here, let us know in the chat.
Hannah says, I've been watching your portfolio reviews for a while. Well, thank you. I always find your insights so helpful and I've learned so much. I wanted to submit my portfolio. A little context. Originally graduated from studying concept art at university and currently looking for my first studio job. Okay. Eager to improve my work and grow. The goal is to break into the industry as a character artist and eventually long-term transition into splash art or promotional illustration. That is two different avenues. Concept art, character concept art, and illustration and splash art. Two different directions. Each one needs several thousand hours to get really good at either of those.
They have some overlap, but there's also some distinct skill sets.
Yep. So as we were talking with Fred in the interview some time ago, he would advise the same thing that we said, which is get good at one thing. So character concept art first, do that. Get to where you are being consistently employed doing this, then start adding on other skills as you go. Are there any areas you think I should focus on, any pieces? Okay, to sub in or out. Okay, so let's take a look at the page first.
Page. Okay.
Hannah is over in the UK. Okay.
All right.
20-year-old.
Oh, you're still young. Lots of time.
Okay. So, okay, I'll tell you right off, I don't know what this is.
Oh, the banner?
Yeah.
It's a bit, the crop makes it hard to tell.
Yeah. I would suggest getting some of your characters like...
I kind of like that.
Yeah, like this. Just get this, but space it out so we can see more of each character and run that across.
Might be a more effective banner.
Yeah. Okay, things that I do like. It's obvious the interest is characters. The characters vary from fantasy to sci-fi and things in between.
Got some interesting proportions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seen some stylization. I don't see any straight realism. That's okay.
That's fine.
From the wide view here, I am seeing some, we'll call it sloppy handling of blacks and shadows. Where things are, it looks like it's more a thing of avoidance of, it just gets kind of black and murky in a lot of areas, and it's not in a way that improves the image. It's sort of just
very dark in many
sidestep stuff.
Just something to be aware of.
Okay. There are some reasonable things here, but there's also some ways to tighten this up a bit. I like the idea of the overall spread. We get some, this sort of thing. This is good. brighten up some of the grays though, so that we can appreciate some of the design choices.
We're losing some of the separation of the elements, so it's like it's hard to tell what these costumes are because everything is so close in value. I can't see the separate elements, so it's kind of hard to see your design this way. I would do a levels adjustment on these, and just separate the values a bit more.
The next thing is the character itself seems quite usable. All right, but it's rough. All the edges are suggested but not stated. I'm going to show you some examples in a moment where we take a look at some alternative ways of rendering it. But remember that for a character concept art, the whole point is the concept. It's not the rendering. So we want to be really specific about the shape and the design of everything. And that has to come before rendering, before shading, before lighting. Okay.
I would think about, right now if I squint, it's almost the same value from top to bottom. I would try to separate some of these colors, some of the leathers could be, this piece looks a little more red. Okay, let it go to the warmer side and let this one maybe go to the more yellow side. Let these go to a cooler tone, but just to separate them out a bit. Yeah, it's everything's kind of bleeding in.
It's like we got the sleeves here, and the sleeves are brown and blue, and I don't know if they're leather. I don't know if they're fabric. We don't have enough
information.
To sort of establish that.
Also, be careful. We got a foot here turning in a way that it can't turn.
It's kind of almost going back.
Going backwards.
Yeah.
So you need to bring this part forward. So just be careful there. Let's look at some more pieces in this project. Okay, so this is a nice collection of figure drawings. I don't think it belongs in a portfolio, professional portfolio. So you got some good things, Hannah, and some things that are kind of holding you back. You had a nice start here, but it looks unfinished. We got way too much text and not enough art.
Well, I mean, add here, for anybody confused, absolutely you should do these. And you should do those in order to figure out what poses you want. But it's not of interest to the client to see the sketches of the poses beforehand.
Because they just assume you can do these.
Yeah, that it's already built into this, so we don't need to see them separate. That's what I'm saying. Also note, it's okay to have some text, but you want to always err on the side of minimalism.
Should always be much more images than text.
This is a yellow flag. All right, this is a turn off because art directors do not want to read this.
They're not going to.
They're just not going to read it, and it's almost like you're trying to offset the art by adding more text is the sort of impression that it gives. So don't give me the back history of the characters. Tell me about you doing the image. Started with this program, moved to this program.
That's fine, but all the information that's here, we need to see in the pictures.
Yeah.
We need the pictures to explain the story. It's another one where they're not going to read this stuff. I'm telling you, they have like 1 minute to give per portfolio, and they're not going to read.
You can do bullet points, 5 things off to the side. This character has long hair, wears leathers, carries a sword, whatever it is. That's enough.
Again, just be aware, Hannah, anybody, repetition is kind of another yellow flag. We don't need to see the same image over and over.
Yep.
Again, I feel like it was a start, but it needs more time. If you're going to do a portrait, a painting of the character, should be finished. We're getting some anatomy problems here with the angle of the head and the neck and the shoulder. Also, from the concept design, what is this showing us concept-wise? Would have liked to see more tattoo designs. We could have had a whole, row of tattoo alternatives here for the shoulder, but we kind of just got this.
Yeah.
Okay, again here, we saw this at the top. You gave us this image. Now you're giving it to us 3 more times. Same image.
I would remove it.
Yeah. By this point, Hannah, I'm going to tell you, you've already lost the reviewer.
Yep.
They've gotten here and they're like, I've already seen this. Now I get another page. They're going to just click out.
Another page of text.
They're going to click out. So be careful. You got to fine tune this and tighten it up. Again, getting a lot of repetition. We just need to see your final, and it needs to be actually finished if you're going to do a painting.
If you're going to show a face like that, then show me 6 different faces, different face structures, different hair types,
eye colors, hairstyles.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, we're getting basically the same image 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you're going to lose them doing stuff like this. They're just going to click off and go to see someone else's portfolio.
Yeah, we don't need to see the references.
Again, I do rough drawings like this too, but if you're going to put them out here on ArtStation, you got to clean them up a little tighter than this.
Mm-hmm.
This is too rough. Okay. So there's good stuff here. I would also recommend, I think you got some good ideas in here. I would recommend separating out these characters into your portfolio and spending more time on each of them. Just
Absolutely,
cleaning up your concept.
That's where it's at.
This is a good start, but you just stopped too soon. He needs more development.
Yeah, make each one of these their own post in the portfolio, because the direction that you're going at this and the project that you chose is fine. I'd say run with it, but give each character a minimum of another 15 hours.
And I'm going to tell you something, Hannah and everybody, this is a very dangerous thing to do, what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Because you're showing the clients better artwork right next to yours.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say, well, actually, I want this.
I'll just hire that guy.
I'm going to hire this person. So you don't want to do this. It's fine to use this as reference or inspiration, but you're showing them concept work that is better than what you're trying to sell them. Very bad idea. Yeah, be careful. There's good ideas in here, though.
Again, really tighten it up. It's easy for them to find people who can do general or close. What they want is specificity. They want to have really clear delineations. Exactitude is what they're paying for, because getting the general look is easy. So they're paying for someone to be really precise and nail the look.
Yeah, let's see the specifics of the costume. This is very blurry.
Brighten them up. They don't... Concept, okay.
And don't be afraid to commit. I mean, you're selling them a design. Show them the design. What do his gloves look like? What are the hand wraps? Just make a decision of what you want them to look like.
And I know that there are some really well-rendered concept art out there. There's some people, higher-level concept artists who do that. You don't need to compete with them on that level. Things don't have to be illustrated as concept art, so you can trust more in nice, clean lines, flat colors, and those are going to do just fine for you, especially at the stage you're at.
Yeah, these look like other designs I've seen, but I would actually spend more time on these drawings, drawing more versions, exploring. These I would just do line drawings, like jumping into the render before you've even figured out the design or the forms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, I think you have a lot of good ideas in here. I would separate these out. Can I go to the main page? And so you got a bunch of stuff in here. I would separate these out, maybe add another row, separate those characters out, and spend some more time on each one, refining them to really try to make your portfolio more attractive to the client.
Okay, Children's Illustrations Project depicting kids 2 years ago. Okay, there's some... Okay, I like these faces more. These feel at a higher level. Not the same style, but they feel like they're at a higher level. Again, the way that some of this is lit, where it has like the really chunky, kind of fat, fuzzy lines, where it looks like it's been colored over a black and white, which is giving it this really mucky look, which doesn't go well with the cute, colorful, outfitted little girl and her frog, right? You would expect the colors to be brighter, pure.
Well, we had some nice colors here.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in the render.
Sort of lost it.
Okay, this is a different thing though. This is not for the same target as this.
It looks like we're moving into more of the fantasy sci-fi, less of the children's stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, like we said, it needs some more refinement and more time spent on the concepts.
Same thing here. There's nothing against. Let's take a look at. What was the name of that? Call Venetia. Okay. There's nothing against having stylized characters.
Oh, yes.
Okay. They can have all kinds of stylized shapes to them. Very unrealistic, a lot of this stuff. Seeing if there was anyone even close to.
These are pretty colorful though. Just be aware that the stylized stuff tends to go towards the colorful.
But they gotta be tight. And you notice how these are not getting all grayed out. They're sitting in that mid-tone. They're using pure colors. The edges are nice and clean. All right. Now, these are illustrations rather than concept art, but it's not going to be that different than, the direction you would be coming at it. Maybe just not as much detail or extra lights and stuff. So I like to see maybe it pushed more that way. Again, excess text and this, it's part of the process, but not, it's just for you. It's for you to figure out stuff, not necessarily for the client. Okay, I had pulled off a few things, some other references here. I pulled this off the other day just from Pinterest. I don't know who did it, but let me open it a little bigger here. This is a good example of a character design that uses the same darker brown, gray sort of outfit that your other character uses, but it's really clean, all right? And let's compare the difference here. Go back to your main one there.
This is what I was talking about in terms of definition and separation.
So there, we have really clean lines, values, separations from stuff. I can tell what's fabric, I can tell what's leather, what's metal. And you notice that the lighting on these is really flat, and it uses, it's very similar to the way Rockwell lit a lot of his scenes, which is the light is almost exactly from the same angle as the camera, which causes a sort of flash camera shadow. The shadows are very short, they don't move down very far, and they're really dark. And so this is what we call spotting the blacks. The shadows are almost all just straight black, but they're very minimal. There's not that many
They're
of them.
crisp.
Crisp.
Yeah, see here, even some things that are in an occlusion area can just sit in black, and that's fine. And then you have all these little cast shadows, not the form shadows, only the cast and occlusion shadows, and really tight little black lines wherever you can separate things. It's a great technique, but it doesn't spill over into the thing and gray it out, right? Like we're getting too much spill over kind of everywhere. And if you kept these really crisp and short, it would give you some more clear separation between your elements.
This is one of the differences where concept art and illustration usually start to go different directions. Because illustration, a lot of times you want lots of form rendering, very volumetric. Over here, it's not. It's all about the design. Another thing that we see that they're doing that you could go more in that direction is the refining of the face. Now, these faces are actually quite similar, angle and everything, but you can just see the quality difference and how much more render and detail and attention was given to developing that face.
And I don't want anyone to think we're picking on you by bringing up this image over here. We're bringing up this image because you said you're applying for in-house positions. So is this person. Yep. These people who have portfolios like this, they're applying for the same jobs. We know because we've got applications like that to our studio. And for other studios, they're getting minimum 1,000 applications. You can almost be certain there's going to be 3, 4, 5 applicants that look like this. So you have to be aware of what you're competing against, and you have to push your quality level just as high as possible. Sometimes that means just putting in more time. I don't think this is so far from this. It really just needs some value balancing, some crisper occlusion shadows, and some time pushing the details of the design, the materials, and the face. Your proportions are fine, and the idea is fine. So this is what we're showing you, just for you and anyone watching, to really be aware. You're applying for in-house jobs. You have to be aware of the competitors and who else is applying to that same job.
I just came across this the other day.
I love this.
Plarium, Studio Plarium did these concepts for Raid Shadow Legends, and they're bringing in the Ninja Turtle cast into Raid Shadow Legends, and they're having, this is a great study of like, get an existing character people already know, but you need to make it kind of more badass.
Just a different design idea.
Yeah. And again, you see how they're actually relying on lines a lot. So most of the stuff has kind of an outline around it, and it has some lighting, but it really, everything is nice and crisp. So.
This is also a good example of just giving a design to a character that gives you lots of things to look at. The turtle himself, they can't cover him up too much, right? Because he has to be recognizable as a turtle. So the turtle base design has a lot of big and medium shapes. So they really got in here with the small shapes to try and elevate the design to give you more things to look at. He's got these little blades here and ninja stars and whatever that is, and some ropes, So this is another thing that I think your design could use, is just some more development. There's elements here where I don't know what these things are.
Yeah.
And there could be some more details, some more straps or chainmail somewhere, different texture, materials.
Yeah, I'm kind of dying to have some pops of metallics in here, even like metal studs in the leather to just break up some of these larger, darker shapes. We're hanging out on Hannah's longer because her portfolio has the same sort of thing we often see in so many portfolios. So it's worth spending some time and talking about it, because I'm sure there's 100 other people probably who will end up watching this video who have the same sort of thing going on. So I'm also going to show you this. This is this illustration. It's not a bad idea. Archer girl pulling towards camera, hair whipping in the wind.
I think Hannah mentioned that she made this piece to kind of aim for Magic the Gathering.
Okay, that's fine. But Hannah, you are now about 15% of the way into this piece. Okay, 15. You're not finished. You're 15%. We would treat this as a sketch. One of multiple sketches in the development process of doing a magic piece. And I've got an example here. I used to do our consults, and there's a fellow, Sean Guzman. I got permission to show his work. So he had what I would consider a very similar piece in his Dwarven Cannoneer. I'd say it's similar because it shares some of the same things. The design of the character really was nominal. It didn't have any particular design aesthetic.
Wasn't developed.
Yeah, it wasn't developed. Don't know where he's from. Didn't really have any interesting design points or like the clan of where who he's a part of or anything like that. And the lighting is sort of ambiguous, and the location is ambiguous. So I talked to Sean and said, you can do more than this. You can get more out of this. Address the design of the character, address the values, because we're just getting a lot of darks.
Really dark everywhere.
And the value separation, guys, on this is that if this has a base value that's really high, well, higher, it has a higher base value, and this has a lower base value, when they get into shadow, there should still be a percentage relevant value change between them. This might need to only get to there in the shadow if this gets to here. That way they still stay separate from each other.
If they have a different base value, then they should have a different value in the light and in the shadow. They can't have the same one.
So Sean got the feedback. He's like, okay, address the values, the lighting, the design of the character, and put him in a location. Mm-hmm. So he did that. And he did this.
Way better.
Much better. So the design feels better. We've got more things to look at. We've got a location.
Colors feel more balanced.
Yeah. And we're not losing stuff to just random blacks. But this still wasn't there yet. It's like, okay, let's push it further. You're now about halfway. Mm-hmm. Now we need to put in the rest of the hours. The background still is kind of out of touch with the foreground. This is well lit and warm, and this is all like gray.
It's overcast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And is there nothing else that we could put back here to make it more interesting? Why is he here? Why is he shooting a cannon in the middle of the woods? Can we not give some more design details? We're getting a lot of big chunky shapes, no little shapes. Mm-hmm. So he went and worked it over again. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we have a competitive image. Okay?
The cannon is better.
Cannon has a better design. The face has better forms, expression, and color. The design of each piece is better. His beard is more interesting with these things in it. The shoulder piece is more interesting. The knee piece is more interesting. The color choices are more interesting. We've put his house back here, so narratively we have a reason why he's there, but why is he shooting a cannon? We've explained it by putting targets on the trees. He's doing target practice. We've balanced the colors between his lit sunshine body and the background where the trees are also being well illuminated. So this was a 2-month progression. Mm-hmm. Okay?
I think that's amazing. I'm still amazed when I look at this.
This was, he spent a month getting to here. I spoke to him again, and he spent another month working on it to get to here. Hannah, the rest of you, this is what's possible if you do these things. Spend more time in the concept phase planning the image, resolving the large aspects such as composition, color scheme, value scheme, design. Use more references because he was making up almost everything.
In the first version, yeah.
And high quality references. Do as little guesswork as possible and then triple the amount of time you're used to putting in. He was used to putting in a maximum of like 8 hours into a piece and calling it finished. If we get away with less than 40 hours on a magic piece, like that almost never happens.
Well, that's okay. That's the point, which is it's not reasonable to expect that you can put 8 to 10 hours into a piece and compete with people that put in 40 hours. Because that's what you're saying, right? Yeah. Is like, I'm just going to put in 8 hours and I should be able to get the same results and the same jobs as people putting in 40 or 50. And it's just not the way it works, right? And the truth of the matter is, I'm just gonna say this, and might come up later again, I don't know, but if you say, I want to do work for Magic the Gathering, I want to do work for D&D, I want to do work for Blizzard, just realize that what you're saying is you're competing with us, literally with us and with our team and, you know, with our colleagues that are working on these projects, that you're going to beat us out for commissions. So that's totally fine and it's totally cool. We encourage you to do that. We can't take them all. But just realize that that's basically what this means, that you have to hit a certain level of quality in order to get those commissions taken away from other artists and assigned to you, you know. It's something to think about. And we and our colleagues put a lot of hours into our pieces.
Now, Hannah, this same difference is completely doable for you. We're not talking about study for the next 5 years to get here. We're talking about you can do this in 2 months. You can have basically a 10 times result. This has like a 1% chance of getting any kind of reasonable work commission from it. This has like a 70% chance.
Much better.
Way higher, okay? But you have to do what most people aren't willing to do, which is these 3 things. Spending a lot more time, a lot more references, a lot better references.
And honestly, I mean, think about it. If you're a recruiter and you see portfolio coming up with images like this and you see a portfolio with images like this, which one are you going to prefer? You know, like we just have to be reasonable about these things.
Okay, we're going slow today. We may not get through all of these. We're almost an hour in, so we'll get through as many as we can before we get from talking.
Too tired.
Okay, Pias is up next, and the comments were, I am from Botswana. Well,
wow.
Greetings from Botswana. Hoping to make it as an artist, I want to become a VizDev animation artist, specializing in color story moments, targeting Sony, Disney, etc. But I'm okay with starting out at smaller places to gain experience. Good attitude. Yeah. Do you have any advice on finding jobs? We can give you some general advice on getting jobs, but not specifically for them because I haven't worked in that specific sector. Currently, I've seen that DreamWorks is having an internship opening soon. Well, that's good. Keep your eye on that sort of opportunity. I would
definitely apply if I was you. Yeah, totally apply.
I reached out to DreamWorks artist Mike Hernandez. He commented that some of my work is good enough and some falls below the mark. I'd love to hear your thoughts, current strengths, and weaknesses. Okay, Pi, sounds like you're getting a very balanced approach to your career here. That's great to hear. And, that's a cute little image.
That is cute.
I like that little cover there. Immediately hits me as VizDev animation direction. So the consistency is good to see. It looks like you have your own project, I assume. Yeah, just daily paint. Okay. Right off, things that I'm liking is you commit to values, you commit to colors, and you commit to edges. All right, very clean. And that's certainly where I see a lot of the VizDev art is nowadays, is they really like
it's
that
very
approach.
Crisp. Yeah, they like the lasso tool kind of style.
So I don't know what the narrative is here. Okay, you probably have your own story going on with who this character is and what these little walking vegetables are. But without knowing any of the narrative, this is really distracting.
It's kind of confusing.
This candle, unless you're going to do more with it and really let it light up this area or put it over here closer to her so that she gets some of the light from it, I would say probably want to take that out, or I'd really want to see like her hand hanging down and holding something related to there like she's holding a ticket or a letter
or
or
a
something.
suitcase.
Yeah.
You know, okay, here's what I'm going to suggest to you. We don't know the story, so all we can note, anyone can note about this is just the technical aspects, like how's your perspective, how are your values, all this. If you want to make an impact on the reviewer or the recruiter, it would be nice to have a narrative that I can understand.
Yeah.
So, okay, it would be nice if this was a ship, if we could see this. I don't know if this is a plane or a ship.
Yeah, that
I'm
background
not sure what
one,
it is.
I don't know.
It would be nice if this was a ship and she's got kind of a little bag or a suitcase, and it was framed in such a way that we feel like she's gonna maybe sneak on board this ship, you know, try to get on without anyone noticing in some way. Just having a more clear narrative about what this scene is about, because right now I feel like we see these people, we don't know who they are, we don't know what the connection is here, and we have this area that's also not giving us any information.
I don't know if this is supposed to be indoor. One of the things that catches me is you've gone to effort to establish that the background characters are using umbrellas because it's raining, but then we see no rain in the foreground. But it doesn't, it feels like she's on a dock.
Yeah, I don't know. Is she covered here? We can't really tell.
Yeah.
So there's some issues that are holding it back, preventing it from having a stronger impact.
Okay, up next here. Again, there is some really good control of colors and values here. And that is crucial for what you're wanting to do. It is more advanced than most of the work that we see. Control of the values, the colors, and having intentional lighting is a more advanced thing. And if you're good at it, you're in the right sort of sector of the industry. The things that you want to be pushing right now, because I glanced at your work earlier in this one, is the visual narrative and pushing the compositions some. So throughout multiple of these pieces, we're getting more scene than we really need. I would suggest tightening in on more of the important area. Like basically everything of interest is just right here. So can we frame this in a way that we get more of that in the frame?
We get more of the emotion of the character being afraid.
Yeah.
With her little vegetable friends.
Now, let me show you a reference here. I'm not saying it needs to look like this, but I just, because this one came to mind. Okay, this is for Runeterra. Not exactly the same, granted, but we're nice and close to this person. I can see that they're scared. We're putting the camera angle nice and low.
Makes this look scarier.
Yeah, we've got the other thing back here. Imagine if we did the same thing on yours. What if we put the camera on the ground right here and we're kind of looking up and we see whatever this shadowy thing is kind of looming over this cart, right? And we see this one peeking around some other building. Then we can get them more in this corner, have that thing more in this corner. So we're using the diagonals more, right? And that's just where you're going to get a lot more out of the composition. Now, I'll pull this up in Photoshop in a minute, but...
Yeah, I also had the same thought about this one.
Yeah.
If we got closer to the woman holding the child, we could actually see her expression. She's terrified, you know, of whoever these people are chasing her. That we could still see them in the back, you know, chasing her with most of the scene, but we could get a much bigger emotional payoff.
So, okay, I'm gonna. I can't remember if I pulled that one off. I'm gonna do really quick redraws in a moment, but I just want to finish looking at some of these. Good control of values really captures that like bright sunny light behind the character. Okay, we've got the Pokemon scene. This is another example of everything I really care about is just right here. Push it together more so that all of the focal points aren't so small.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need 50% of this image is just kind of unutilized. So push these guys over here so that they're overlapping. And that's something else we can do a lot more is overlapping. Make these guys bigger. Move the camera up. I only need to see just a bit of the water to infer that the rest of the water is there.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really nice stuff here. Okay. More of an advanced color scheme. Though I am confused what's happening right here. It looks like negative space with the
I'm
arm.
not sure what's happening there.
I think you're going for edge light, but the edge light is the exact same color and value as the background.
So it just looks like a hole.
So it's okay to get edge light and just make it this color.
Mm-hmm.
It can be brighter than the background. I would just let that part be dark. And if that's edge light, then just make it basically white. Oh, that's charming. Okay. Okay, again, quite solid, but there's ways to just push this a little more. Did I save this one off? I did. Okay. We're going to give you a little feedback. Now, starting at this point, I would take these out because these just come across as studies. 100% the sort of things you should be studying.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
good choices.
yes, time well spent, but they're studies. They don't look like the rest of the stuff that you do, you do professionally. Yeah. This is like texture brush experimentation. I'm going to suggest what we've suggested to a lot of people is picking a project that other people are already familiar with so that they can understand when and how you did it successfully. I don't know this character. I don't know this story.
Well, they can also understand the narrative scenes that you're describing without you're needing to explain them.
Just do your version, same sort of stylization, but do it The Hobbit. You got Bilbo Baggins on an adventure. You show him meeting Gandalf. You show him riding a little pony somewhere, right? Whatever scenes you want to grab.
If you want to do African characters, you can always do an African version of something else, right?
Yeah.
Like you could do The Hobbit in Africa. We're not saying you have to do non-African characters. Okay?
Just find some story that people know.
It just makes it easier for the audience to connect if they already know the story, whatever story that is, just a familiar story, so they can identify your narratives a little bit more easily.
Okay, so let me grab a few things. Oh, let me also note, one other thing I was going to look at on the site, and then we'll go into Photoshop. So, to Pias, if you're wanting to get into anywhere in the industry and you're trying to build a portfolio, what you want to go do is go look at the portfolio of somebody who is getting paid to do the thing that you're wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously it was good enough. Excuse me. So over here, I just did a Google search for Viz Dev for Pixar. Okay, because I thought it would be in line with what you're trying to do. So I came across this person. I have no familiarity with them or their work, but I can certainly see some connection between what you're doing and what they're doing. Now they got some other styles here. 100% this sort of thing. really, really simple, really like chunky shapes, right? This is basically their version of Sketches. And this, right? Really good. Yours just spend a little more time, right? I know that you're doing like these daily sketches, and that's cool, but this is what people are paying for. There's a little more nuance to it. There's a little more like a few extra lights, a few more narrative beats.
Yeah, we're getting more emotion out of the posing too.
Yeah. Look how wonderful is that?
That's great.
That's I'm gonna make it a little smaller so people can see it. So again, really good. There's more nuance. There's more visual storytelling.
There's
with
enough
stuff.
Storytelling here that I can tell what's going on. Like he's just leaving after turning this place upside down. So you can tell there's just stuff everywhere, and the curtains are blowing. It has like this ominous undertone, right? You can tell something unpleasant has just happened here.
And they're using the light in very intentional ways. So notice that they're using the lighting to help convey the emotional, where the character is emotionally. And this character is not in a happy place, so therefore the light is not hitting his face. This character is intentionally a shady character, so they are put in the shade. The light is not hitting them. This character is. We're getting a more positive feeling for this character. So we are letting the light hit that. And we're just letting a splash of light
Almost
go
like a
back
halo.
there. Yeah. And all of this stuff pointing right here makes us make sure that we're not missing the kiddo who's playing in the chest, right? These fantastic studies, absolutely the sort of thing you need to be doing. This is why I was thinking of like The Hobbit or whatever you want, right? But go through some of the main story beats of whatever it is. Red Riding Hood, whatever.
Make the emotional read very clear.
Yep. And don't be afraid to really add some more detail in the right places. Not everywhere, but a few spots here or there really helps to just make it more engaging.
This is
they do some 3D
yeah,
as well.
This is some advanced level stuff.
Yep. Very nice. Very nice. So let me show just a couple of tips on your pieces. And let's see which one.
And while you're doing that, there's just a question in the chat from Wee. Hi, Wee. Does a character concept artist need to know 3D modeling? I see a lot of job descriptions require artists to be skilled in Maya, ZBrush. I'm not too sure if it is required. Thanks.
Well, what's the answer?
I think it depends on the company. They may want you to do other things. They may want you to work with a 3D model, or they may want you to be able to do excuse me. They may want you to do props or something else. Nowadays it's really common to want all concept artists to have some 3D skills. So I still think if your 2D skills are really, really good, you can get away with not knowing any 3D. But if you're going up against someone who is also really good at 2D and they know 3D, then they're going to have an edge over you. So it kind of works that way.
So with this, if you're going to be doing lighting like this, we've got this shadow coming across here, you want to go ahead and utilize that shadow so that the shadow is coming here. That way we're using it to help get the character to break the silhouette. There's a few times in your work that you could get a lot more out of it by just letting the character break the edge of whatever that thing is there, or letting a little light be visible. So here, like the whole scene, if we had so we have the character here. They're looking up, their backs against this, and they're holding their little friends, right? Maybe their knees are tucked up because they're scared, right? And then this thing is lurching back here with his club, right? Now we're using a lot more of the canvas to do what we need, right? You got that, you got this character here, and then you just have a little light like spilling across, hitting just part of them, you know, and then the light comes down and like this is all in shadow. And then he's nothing but shadow back here in his big club.
Is that silhouette?
Yeah. So it's a way to just get some more out of it. The other ones, let's pull this. It was remarkably not a pain to use. Usually the thing is not that good. Again, like if we can get her closer, a little bigger to see, or if you're going to let the light come in here, then let the light extend further so that we actually get some light on her as she's running past, right? And that way you're getting this flash of illumination. It may even be good to have the flash of illumination like getting the main subject right there as we're only catching it as she's going through that beam of light and as she's running. But yeah, the whole thing really can just be zoomed in because I don't care about the ceiling that much. What is of any interest is just this part. Because that's what the action is. The action isn't up. The
I would
action is
have
all
her
down.
even closer than that.
Yeah. It could be something in that territory, right?
Mm-hmm. Something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I think Pias has good skills.
Yes.
It's just that what he's trying to do is a really hard thing to do. It's basically coming up with good movie shots and lighting them well and, you know, telling the narrative, and it's a hard thing to do. So just keep doing what you're doing, Pias, and I think you're going to get there.
I couldn't remember. Color scripts. This is something that would be well worth your time to practice. Same place, different lightings, different moods. Okay, I don't know if you did studies like these, but that would probably be a good one to show in your portfolio, just to show your versatility to the client that no matter what the location is, I can make it feel however you want. Change up the lighting and all that. And yeah, so those, if I was trying to get your job, that's one of the things I would do. Okay, go on to the next one. James might be the last one we do because we'll see how long it takes. Recently completed your character illustration class. Well, thank you. On my own time, really learned a lot. I took it because I'm not having much luck finding work with my portfolio at the time, which was mainly full scenes, single character illustrations. I felt like I needed to take a step back and try building a more focused portfolio, so I put something together following your illustration project guide and briefs. Cool. Very practical approach here. I like it. sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to take that step back, rebuild your focus, rebuild some new pieces. I titled the project Asteria's Decay. Okay. It features some character...
Maybe we're saying it wrong, sorry.
Creature prop illustrations aim to make them feel like they belong in the world together. Like to find some clients doing this, maybe a studio. Like to eventually work my way up to complex scene stuff for MTG, D&D, similar. Yep. As a general fantasy, wondering if expanding with this. As this is general fantasy, I was wondering if expanding this with additional projects like the one based on your Cthulhu briefs would be a good idea to appeal to more studios. Thanks again for your time and courses.
That is a good idea.
Okay, so we are looking here. James, good initial splash of images. Subject matter is consistent. I'd say the quality is consistent. I will note this is a minor thing, but it is being, to make you aware of it though, it is not easy to save the images off of your site, which is something that recruiters are going to want to do. I can't drag this over to my desktop like I can on ArtStation.
Yeah,
right?
It would be nice to have your name and contact or like email or website here, and then allow people to copy them, because then if someone likes your image, saves it to their desktop, they can find you again, and they don't have to
put it on there.
Do too much.
People share things on Pinterest all the time.
I know that like someone might steal your work and print it on a playmat made in China, which has happened to me, but it's like they can do that anyway. I wouldn't be too concerned about people stealing your images. There's so many images out there.
Yeah.
I think it's more worth it to give people the ability to save it off, because that's what recruiters like to do a lot of the time. It's just easier to save a favorite.
Okay, James. Particularly more recently, we are certainly seeing a lot more work from clients where they want scenes rather than standalone characters. There is still that stuff out there in this category, but most of the work that we're noticing coming our way is more in line with this, if not more complex than this.
I wish it was just one character.
Like I was just did a sketch for an unannounced project that has 10 plus characters in it, right? And that's not the only one in the batch that has.
We can't give away too much, but I'll just say there were no images in the batch that were simple. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, these would be easy by comparison. But this is absolutely where we need to start. These feel like they're in a pretty good level. I see you did this one from the kit, I believe. We have the hyena.
There might be others. I don't remember all the briefs.
I don't know if you took some of these from the kit or not.
But these have a good read to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I certainly see that these could fall within a variety of different TTRPG sort of places. But this is where we're trying to go, so I want to focus my feedback on this. Now, for these, it is likely that you can start picking up some commissions from some companies with these, because they're quite clean.
Yeah, you don't have any, mucky values or anything like that.
So they have a good read to them, but I also feel like they're not quite there for like that MTG level. And it is not a case of, well, you fix this one thing. It's a case of 100 little things.
Well, maybe not 100, but a few little things.
Yeah, a few little things on every image. And this comes back to where we're talking about plus every aspect 10%. It's can we get 10% more out of the pose, 10% from the character design, 10% from the lighting, 10% from the composition. How can we just get it a little more? And we'll go into Photoshop in a moment, and we'll try to point out a few things so that you have the idea of kind of where we're coming at this. I'm not knocking the subjects. I feel like the subjects are pretty good. It is just a variety of little things. Okay, so let me show you again comparison. All right, guys, comparison to James and to anyone else. I'm sure James is not the only one who wants to get into D&D and Magic. So, what Dino is just saying, you got to know who your competitors are, because if you're trying to get into Magic, you're competing against me. You're competing against Dino. You're competing against these people. I just put MTG into ArtStation. You need to match these. Okay? That's who you need to match. This is Joshua Raphael and Divebound Studio. And this is what he and his studio are doing for D&D. I mean MTG. So you've got to compete against him. Okay, that's the level that things are at now.
I know it sucks. We don't want to compete against him either.
No, I don't. I don't want to put that much time in.
It's very demoralizing.
This is art. We've shown her work before. I don't personally know her, but this is what she was doing in her portfolio to start getting work. Right in line. I feel like you're not that far from this. So let's compare. Oh, this, excellent.
Yeah, good job. Get those Daz dolls working for you.
Either you need to be taking photo references. If you're trying to go this more realistic route that you're going, either you're taking photo references, you're doing like mannequin dolls that you're sculpting or something.
You probably still need photos too, even if you... Like, I do this too, but I take more photos also for all the other bits of the image after the block in.
So you've got that, and then it's like, compare it to another one. So I feel like this one just has more pop. I feel like this could have more pop. I feel like this could compete. It just doesn't. So this is getting quite washed out with the values and the colors. You could really go deeper with the blacks. Like, I don't think we have any true blacks here. We also could go more dynamic with the lighting. Here, like, I would just let that lower body get basically silhouetted, nice and dark as it goes down. We could have a slash of light going like across this building, because otherwise we just have this sort of flat lighting across the whole scene. There's no real dynamic to it. And other things. So I want to spend a moment taking a look at your goblin.
I like the way this piece is painted. I think the colors are nice. There's some nice effects.
There are nice effects here, but if we can push it, what do we do? The face is still reading us human with a couple of tweaks. It doesn't really read goblin. And there's no one set way of doing goblins, but like I look at that and I go, okay, that feels more like a goblin.
Feels goblin-y.
It doesn't feel just like a human that I made some tweaks to. Same thing here. Feels like a goblin. What are some things that you could do? Really exaggerate the nose, really exaggerate the features, making the hands oversized, right? Making the head much larger compared to the body, giving the spiky sort of nails to the hands. So it'd be like scaling these
Yeah,
up.
right now it's not, it's reading more as like an elf with dwarfism.
Yes.
Than an actual goblin. The goblins have different proportions. I even feel like
Other things.
the hands
No
are always
necks.
big. Yeah, big nose, no neck.
So we want to. I mean, usually the nose is big. There are some goblins that have little noses, like this. and then you really push their expressions more. He's mad. Ah, man. It's really got that. Really gonna squeeze the eye. Okay, now he's really mad. Okay, then he's got basically no neck. They aren't like humans. Their head just kind of sets on their collarbone, and then the hands are really big, and they're not lean like that. They're knobby. These sort of differences.
And before anyone thinks we're picking on poor James here, this is absolutely the thing. These are absolutely the things that we get called out on by art directors regularly. They will not let this go. Trust me. Mm-mm. If it's like off-brand in any way, you will be told that you have to fix it and change it.
Other things, it's like this. It's putting some sort of pattern on the skin, right? It's changing into a different color. It's got spots. It's got scales, something that again pushes it.
Yeah, there's some nice feet there. Like yours could really benefit from some feet.
Yeah, this feels like it's still phoned in. That's something that we would likely be getting notes from the art director about.
Yeah, if you don't want to draw the foot, put a boot on him or something. That way you don't have to paint the toes.
Okay, so those would be some things. Other things, looking at it. Okay, he's got fire magic. But we're not really leaning into it, are we? Can we get some more? Can we get some fire magic? Right? Can we get a stronger expression? Right? Yeah. I can see a little goblin doing that sort of thing.
This has a beautiful amount of detail, and there's a lot, and just very complex. But what's doing the heavy lifting here is that face. Yep. The face, the hand, and the fire are carrying it. Everything else is great, but that's what's carrying it. So just think if you implemented some of that on your piece, how much stronger it could be.
So looking at the pose, how can you get more out of the pose? Can you crouching down more and have that hand raised up higher? You're dropping this, and he's got more of this sort of serious expression, or he's looking up, from a lowered position. And this fire is, and it's just tearing around over to this hand. It's coming around here. We're just trying to add the excitement. That's one of the things that I talk about in the style guide for Magic is the rule of cool. Mm-hmm. It's got to excite the 14-year-old in every player. Even if they're, 40, it's got to have that sort of, yeah.
And I feel like I could be wrong, but I because I'm speculating here because I do this, or I used to do this. I don't do it anymore. But I feel like with some of these pieces, it was a one and done kind of sketch. And so you didn't really give yourself the chance to push the pose, push the narrative, because probably did one, maybe two sketches and then jumped right into the painting. So instead of doing that, because what happens then is if you want to change something like this at this stage, it's just a lot of repainting, right? Mm-hmm. Spending more time in the sketch phase, just seeing how can I push this idea? How can I push the face? How can I push the gesture, the expression, where the magic effects are going to go before you jump into rendering it?
Absolutely. Okay, and the last one I'm going to take a look at, because I already had a reference that was so similar, is the angel. Some really good things going on with the angel, okay? Very controlled color scheme. All right, actually one in Photoshop. Okay. But if you do something like that, people already know this. Now, this is Victor Adame. He's already out there slaying it with this. So what can we learn from it? What is he doing that's pushing that next level? And then we want to try to implement that on yours. So one of the things that he's doing is more color. We've got like this nice skylight that's sort of giving a three-dimensional aspect, when we're infusing color into all these shadows from this sky color, it doesn't make or break the image, but it just takes it one notch more. And over here, we're not really getting that. It's just kind of one note everywhere. And I keep forgetting that's not on a different tab. So over here, we're getting color variation in each one. Every one of these has like a little gradient on every feather, and that just gives visual interest across the whole thing. Right?
We're also getting, I just want to point out, anyone doing wings, I've had to do them before, they're always a pain. They have a 3D form, right? They're not just like two flat pieces of paper. Like where the joints are, it has to create a bend and a volume here. And that's another thing that we're missing from yours. They're kind of just cutouts, right?
Yep.
So you need more of the anatomy. Be referencing bird wings if you're going to put wings like this on an angel.
Well, obviously, there are a lot of different designs for wings, but this isn't great. So if you want to think about it, there's more like two different sections that do this. But this one sort of anchors around here, and then the next one anchors there. So you have these differing designs. Now his works more like the one you did, but he's getting a lot more volume out of them. But I would take a look at some wings. Like if this is what you're going for, I would have the different one like that and have the long ones coming out, and these all stay shorter. Other things that he is doing is there was some other note. Oh, just like looking at the metal, knowing him, he probably had like a freaking suit of armor, or he likes to get sculpey and model things, so he might have sculpted it and spray painted it with chrome paint, right? That seems really close to the sort of thing he'd do. So if that's what you need to do, that's what you do. You also notice that on his designs, we've got a lot of nice little edges. Right, we've got the gold on the edges. We've got these designs in here. We've got interlocking pieces. Down here, we just have solid pieces. They're just big solid pieces. No design work, no edges, no engravings, and all of those add together. All those add together, and that's what takes the piece one.
And so we were talking
more.
about a lot of little decisions. It's not like you're making any major errors. Now it's just a lot of small choices to push things to that higher level of quality, to compete with someone like Victor who is making all those little choices, right? It's the costume, everything is dialed up. It's the materials. It's the anatomy of the wings. Every wing has these little breaks in the feathers. That's important when you have, a third or half of the image taken up by the wings. People are going to look at them a lot, right? So you really have to spend time on making them look good. That is not easy, I know.
No, it's not.
Every time I have to do them, I just about cry. But it is important if you're going to do an angel, if you're going to tell people, I want to do an angel, then you really have to dial in those aspects.
It's also like looking at the silhouette. This is a very simple silhouette. Can we get it to do something more interesting? Can we have bigger breaks here and then get to smaller breaks here and then have really tight ones there? Already the shapes are more interesting than that. Or can we have it looping around so it's not just flat?
Fold it a little bit. Or bend.
Like this one has a tilt as the tops are sort of bending forwards and creating that shadow area here. I'm not saying it has to look like that, but it needs that sort of push to it. And just across the images, though, that's what we're seeing needs to be done is that extra push.
The extra push on the costume. extra push on the materials. Okay, extra push on the set dressing. The rays here are not helping you.
Yeah.
They're not helping you light this, right? So again, the background, we've got everything is green. The trees are green, the grass is green. It's all these little things that if you dialed in each aspect, it would really elevate the image, get it closer where you want it to be.
Yeah.
So it's been an hour and a half. Do you have any parting words for James?
I was trying to think if there's anywhere I can. One of the best things that you can do, James, we've suggested this to other people, is do comparison. Honestly, it'd be getting like this image, take it in Photoshop, put 5 other high-level MTG angel artworks around it, and then write down notes about each aspect. How are they handling the posing, the lighting, the wing rendering, the wing design,
The skin,
because your overall setup for the scenes are good. Like, I read the image very clearly. There's clear value separation, foreground and background. There's clear color separation, foreground, background. That's one of the strengths of the pieces. But I'd really, just try to get each aspect and push it a little bit. And it's hard, at least for me, to know immediately what that is. Often I need to go look at somebody's work to just kind of refresh that in my mind. Oh, push it like that. I don't know. Did you say on your site? No, you don't say. If you have not been doing these from briefs, 100% you need to start doing these from briefs. Because it is a totally different challenge to do a scene like this on a subject that you get to choose with scenario that you get to choose versus having to do a random scene that somebody else defines and hit the same level.
I don't know if these were from any of those briefs.
I
honestly can't remember. But I think you're really close, James. I think you're really, and you're closer than most people that are trying to do this. It's just now a matter of dialing these images in, dialing them up in the quality. But the bones are good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do we want to go any further?
I think maybe we should call it a day. Does anyone have any questions in the chat that they want us to answer before we take off for the evening? We're just a bit tired this week.
Yeah, the sun's gone down. Now my light back here looks like it's absolutely blowing us out.
Yeah, well, it's pretty bright.
It might be easier if I turn
a bit blinding right now. Oh, that's a little bit better. Well, the chat's pretty quiet.
Yeah, the chat's been quiet all day. Normally we get some more questions and comments.
I just want to say, I know some more people have been applying to the studio, and I am not ignoring anyone. I've just been ill, and Clint's been really busy, and I haven't been able to pay close attention to those applications or respond to any of them. So I am sorry if you're waiting for a message from me. I'm still recovering, and I want to get back to everyone. So just be patient, please. But if anyone has any other questions unrelated to that, let us know. Well, I guess that's a no.
Yeah, I guess not. You guys are welcome.
Sean has questions. I have questions.
Well, Sean, hit us.
Thanks for making it to the live stream, everybody. We appreciate everybody that's here hanging out with us. Makes it easier, for sure.
chai tea was so good. Now it's all gone.
And while I wait for the questions to be typed out, I'll just finish this. It's pumpkin spice coffee, but with skim milk, which kind of ruins it, but that's what I have to have now. Get like the smell of the pumpkin spice with this watery liquid.
Yeah, guys, we're going to have some launch day specials with form drawing. A lot of people think about form drawing, they're like, oh, basic drawing, I don't need that. You know, I'm past that. I'm going to tell you, I'm not necessarily even past that. Because form drawing...
I'm not past that.
We were talking about this. Guys, right, there seems to be this misconception that once you study the fundamentals, you move on to other things. No. You never move past the fundamentals. In that, everything that you do is implementing fundamentals. Right? Every time you draw anything, you're implementing the fundamentals of form, dimensionality, contours, perspective, anatomy, proportions, shading principles. It's all fundamentals. All you do is add more things to it. Mm-hmm. You're not doing something, it's not like you're replacing fundamentals with design or with lighting or composition or something. You're just having to do fundamentals and design, fundamentals and this thing.
And narrative and composition and
And anyway, informed drawing really should help people improve their ability to think three-dimensionally, draw things three-dimensionally, and become less dependent on needing exact references. Mm-hmm. Like, if you understand the 3D volume of a thing, then you can change the orientation of it. But also, how do you get complex things and break them down into primitives and draw them from different angles consistently? Mm-hmm. So anyway, it's a great topic. I have been posting, or I have posted my portfolio, and I just want to see if you guys go through all of them or you just pick certain ones. Just wondering. No, we go through all of them, but I will tell you, Sean, that there is a reasonable chance that we have simply accidentally skipped it, depending on when you posted it.
Well, the problem is, for some reason, that Discord channel just does not show them to us in order that they were posted. It just shows them to us in random order, so we're constantly trying to figure out who we haven't reviewed yet so that they can get a review. So if you have posted and you haven't been reviewed, anybody watching this, not just Sean, like, I posted some time ago and you never reviewed me. Just post in the general chat and let us know. Yeah, hey, that's fine. I posted and I haven't gotten a review yet, and then we'll go back and look for your portfolio because we may just have missed it because of the way it
for some reason, Discord, as soon as the post reaches 30 days, it lumps anything that's 30 days old or older into just a random category. Yeah. And it's only things within a month that will actually put it in time sequence.
Then it gets very confusing. It just lumps them all together and we don't know how long ago it was actually posted.
If it's been more than 30 days, then just tag us. Mm-hmm. Let us know what yours is. No, we don't try to skip anybody.
We're not curating them. We're trying to do them all. Yeah. On the subject of what you were just saying with the form drawing is, we were talking about, I just thought I'd share, I don't know if anyone cares about this, but we were talking about how I know a lot of people go get portfolio reviews, or they apply, or they go get mentorships, and we hear from a lot of artists that say, oh, I'm being told to go back to my fundamentals, and they feel offended by this. They feel like it's kind of hurtful to hear this. And I think there's some misunderstanding that it's like a shameful thing or an embarrassment to be told that you need to work on your fundamentals, because I think what people hear is you don't know the basics. You need to go work on basic, easy things. But the thing is, the fundamentals are not easy. They're not easy or basic. They're actually hard to learn. There's a lot of important information, and it's hard to master. And so if you don't know all your fundamentals, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. You just need to maybe get some clarity, some direction, some teaching so that you can learn some of those things to a better level. But it's not like if someone says you need to work on your fundamentals, they don't mean, oh, you don't even know the baby stuff. That's not what they mean. The fundamentals are just the foundational core skills, but it's not easy thing. This is hard. This is hard.
I literally talk about in lesson 1, this is foundational, but foundational doesn't mean easy. It just means that all the other skills are built on it as a foundation.
Yeah, just pointing that out.
The other thing, if you've not taken classes from us, and not every class is this way, but most of them have draw alongs or paint alongs. And this class is full of, I've got, I think, 15 draw alongs in form drawing, which is real time. I'm drawing it with you, talking you through each step as you're drawing the thing with me so that you're familiar with how to do it before you have to go do it on your own with the homework. And that is such a key thing, because it's one thing to just hear somebody describe how to do it or even watch somebody demo how to do it, but you've got to practice doing it.
It helps so much to follow along. Sean is asking, should I put a date on it saying when I post? Yeah, that would actually really help if you just type it.
We should tell everybody to do that.
We should tell everybody to do that. Yeah, just put it in your text. When you type in, your name and your portfolio link, put the date in there. That would actually be really helpful.
Matthew, any working plans for materials too? Yes, sir, there is.
Yes.
That is being aimed for the first half of 2026.
Yep.
So I have an outline of, I think I know which materials, and I'm aiming to do 10 new materials. I don't want to tell you what they are right now.
It's a surprise.
But yes, I'm excited to get into it. Right now we're just trying to wrap up the courses that we've already done before. Like I taught form drawing live a year ago, and it just hadn't gotten recorded, and I needed to update some things before it was recorded. So that's why it's taken a while. But then we're doing character portraits will be the next one that I release, because most of that course is already done, and that should be releasing probably by the end of the year. And then aiming for materials 2, likely the next one after that.
I am aiming to have a new course also at the end of the year. I know a lot of people are asking for the Intro to Environment. By the way, anybody that took my environment diorama class a couple of years ago, you will get free access to the new environment class, because some of the material is repeated. So, when that class comes out, if you took the environment diorama class, don't buy it again. Just send me an email, and I will give you access.
Go through it, because we are planning some excellent updates to that class with a lot of useful new information.
Okay, there's some more comments here.
I've
video from ArtStation. They've been great help. Oh, so maybe one of your videos there.
I feel like my underwhelming knowledge of subjects and volumes and forms is why I struggle with sketching. Any tips on making practicing sketching easier or more fun? I could give you some general tips. One is I generally enjoy practicing sketching and drawing. Like I was recording an extra lesson just yesterday, and doing all of this like guidelines and working out the 3D forms of the subject, and like I enjoy it. So I trying to teach somebody how to enjoy it. I mean, I just enjoy drawing. So if you don't enjoy it, maybe you should look at something else. But adapt it. Whatever you're doing, copying is the first step for whatever you're trying to do. You need to be able to do an accurate copy of what the subject is, just a one-to-one from the reference. Okay, that's step one. After that, you need to do an adaptation. So whatever it is, you're going to draw this cup. Cool, you got a little mug here. Now draw it from a different angle. Right? Now draw it from another different angle.
And don't be afraid to get it wrong. It's for you. If you make a mistake, it doesn't matter. Just challenge yourself.
And get something complex like a car, and be like, well, how would I break this down in the fewest large primitives possible? And then, because if you can learn how to use processes like, well, this is very similar to doing this. Because if I ever do something similar to a car again, whether it's a boat or whatever else, I know how I can approach it because the processes are adaptable.
Where is that question? I have to scroll back. Did I miss one here? No. Any idea when the announcement comes out regarding what classes will be available for live feedback? I think we can say for sure the fantasy illustration one will be available.
The announcement and sign up should be Black Friday, so it'd be like late November is probably when we might announce it just a little beforehand. It might be early mid-November, but signups are likely to be third week of November. And yeah, fantasy is almost for sure. I will likely be running character illustration, and we're making a lot of the choices based on how many people we have on the waiting lists for each course. If you want a certain course to run with live feedback, the best thing that you can do to let us know is to go to the website. Every course page at the bottom has a waiting list. Just put in your email. We don't do anything other than look at it to see how many people signed up. All right, we don't sell it or anything. And
yeah, you're not buying it by putting your email address in there. You're just letting us know that you're interested in the live class, and it just helps us gauge how many people are interested in which classes, so we know which ones to prioritize, so that we don't open the wrong ones and then nobody signs up and we waste everybody's time.
Yeah, for me, I don't know, if you can get your new class done, then we might run it, but form rendering has some signups, as does the character design. So we'll have to look at that time. We also need to look at what our schedule is, because with our Swatches studio, that is a significant time investment. So it'll depend on how many pieces we're going to be having running during the same time that we're going to be teaching. So we'll let you know.
After Lightbox in November, we should have the announcement come out.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
I think we wants to take your character portraits class.
Yeah, character portraits is similar to form drawing in that most of the work is done, but it does need some updates. And the character illustration class, we cover portraits for one of the lessons, and those lessons got some really positive feedback, and they were very effective. So I want to expand on that and bring that into the character portraits class so that we do more of a deep dive in that direction. And hopefully that'll be more effective for students. We've just learned how to do curriculum better the longer we do it. So we're always just optimizing it a little bit every time we have to record a new course. Okay, well, I don't see any more questions, but we really appreciate everyone hanging out with us for the live stream. And we will let you know when the next live stream is. I don't know if we're going to do it next Thursday or not, because I've got some other things,
remember
and
what's
then
going on.
it's very likely we're going to get some feedback to implement on some commission pieces. So we might be busy with that next week. So we'll let you know. Keep an eye on the Discord. I'll try to post on YouTube as well. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And we will see you next time. Take care.